Welcome to the Pure Performance Cafe. May I take your order?
Yes, I would like a shot of Pure Performance, please.
Coming right up.
Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Pure Performance Cafe, again in Tallinn, in Estonia. And I'm still here at DevOps Days, or DevOps Tallinn, I think that's what it's called, right?
Yeah.
And I bumped into Ryan. Ryan, welcome.
Nice to meet you.
Hey, so you just had a call or a talk earlier. You talked a lot about web performance optimization. Mm-hmm. This is a topic that I've been involved over a couple of years, not so much any longer. That's why it was so nice to see it again, being picked up in a conference talk. You had a great example of how you moved, how you help your customers now move from their existing e-commerce platforms to your platform, and like what lessons learned. So maybe can you give us a quick intro about yourself, your company, and then just a couple of highlights of what you talked about today?
Sure. So I'm Ryan Townsend. I'm the CTO of a company called Shift Commerce, which is based in the north of England. What we do is we build an e-commerce platform. It's multi-tenant and SaaS, but aimed at kind of mid to enterprise players. One of our largest clients is a company in the UK called Matalan. They have about 220 physical stores, and they do about £1 billion pounds in revenue. So quite a significant company. And our platform's really focused on web performance. So, Matalan saw enormous benefits from moving over to us. We do things like put a CDN in front of the whole site. So we have things like HTTP2. We have image transformation handled by Imagix, so you're delivering the right size and right format images. And it's just a personal passion of mine. Like, I'm really into this stuff. So the talk today was just about our process of launching Matalan on our platform. They were the first client that we had, so we had to go from nobody on it to just them overnight, which was obviously it was just a big launch, really. So we took various different measures and really worked well with those guys in kind of preparing for that launch. And the result was a great success. And then we've continued to do that since with other clients. Yeah,
I think you brought some very good examples on, how can you make sure that you're not completely messing up for launch? Like you can actually say, let's turn off features that nobody needs in the beginning, right? Yeah. Reduce traffic and things like this. A lot of great insights. And I think you not only did you have this talk here, but I think you just told me you're doing a lot of other talks regularly on web performance only. Maybe some tips and tricks of, especially, web performance optimization has been around for a while. We talked about Steve Souders earlier, but I'm sure things have changed since Steve kicked all this off 10 years ago. What's the latest and greatest that you're teaching?
So my current talk that I've just given in Poland, and I'm going to be giving again in Poland, actually, another 2 times, and a couple of other locations, really focuses on what can you do to a site without having to go away and get permission for it. So I think one of the great things about web performance now is that as we start to understand all the little nitty-gritty details that we can optimize, there's a lot that we can do without having to go in, spend loads of money on CDNs and image transformation. We can do, so one of the little tips that I've got is just getting your head tag in the correct order. I was doing some testing for my talk just to give an example of what kind of improvements we could get there. And I managed to shave off something like 2 seconds off the start render time just purely by reordering some tags. Now, that wasn't a 10-week project involving hundreds of thousands of pounds. It was just a 2-minute job. And once you know this detail, and I've got to admit that it's a tip that was given to me by a friend of mine called Harry Roberts. But then there's other little things that we can do as well, just loading our CSS correctly, not relying on third parties, so doing all those DNS lookups and new connections, so serving stuff as much as possible, from your own servers, and just avoiding any kind of single point of failures with things like third party tag managers or A/B testing tools or personalization, all these new fancy things that we're starting to load into websites. So all of these things, if you just load these things in the correct way, you can get that website in front of someone so much quicker, and it just gives that feeling that something's there. They're not just going to bounce away waiting, they're sat waiting for 10 seconds looking at a white screen. They're actually going to see your website and interact with it and feel confident browsing around. One worst things is when you finally load a website and then you think, oh, each time I click something, it's going to be another N seconds. If we can get to the point where you're giving that confidence, people are going to browse around a lot more. They're going to get immersed in your brand. They're going to get immersed in your products, whatever it may be that you're selling. And ultimately, you're going to get more revenue out the back of it.
I think also you had a nice statistic from a study from Akamai where they said it's better to abandon people or tell them come back later instead of giving them a slow experience, because slowness kind of manifests itself more in the brains than saying, hey, come back later because right now we just can't handle the load, right? This is amazing.
It's almost that no experience is better than a bad experience. If you want to buy something, being told, sorry, just come back in a couple of hours, great, I can go and get on with something else in the meantime. Yeah, you're going to lose a percentage of people because they'll forget or they'll just go somewhere else because they need it now. But yeah, if you've got an outage, if you've got a problem with your site, that taking that site offline or showing an error page to a certain portion of people, that's a great way of retaining those customers and not giving them that bad experience. And that's why web performance optimization is great, because you're affecting all those people at the far end of the scale. Anytime you do an optimization, it's for everybody.
Exactly.
It's for the long tail of people on really, really poor connections, and it's not just about these emerging markets. A lot of talk in the web performance industry at the moment is about we've got huge potential in the likes of India and China and these other locations where people are only just coming online. Well, there's plenty of times when you're traveling around, you're on a train and you go in a tunnel and suddenly you lose half your connection. You could be on a flight and your bandwidth's super expensive. Even, just rurally around, even in England, has terrible phone signal in places, terrible, even broadband. So, there's plenty, all of these people are going to benefit from this. It's not just a case of saying, okay, I'm going to take an already fast website and make it faster.
Cool. Hey, Ryan, if people want to reach out to you, what's the best way to reach you?
So I'm pretty much Ryan Townsend on all of the different social networks. So at Ryan Townsend on Twitter, same for Instagram. I think had to put my middle name in there on Facebook. And then the company address is just shiftcommerce.com.
Perfect. Cool. And then we'll put all the links also on the podcast website so people will see it anyway.
Great.
Hey, thank you so much and enjoy Gdansk next week, I think you said, right, when you're back in Poland.
Yeah, Gdansk and Berlin.
Yeah,
Should be good.
Berlin too. Awesome. Yeah. Two great cities. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.